What's good? Fuck. What's good? Now I can see. Oh shit, and my head's still cut off. Let me give you a better angle. Dang. Yeah, it is what it is. There you go. That's kind of good. What's good, people? Here's my contribution to society today. What are we gonna do? I'm not pushing carts anymore at Walmart. So what am I gonna do to contribute? Yeah, I don't know. I had a bunch of things to say. Let's turn on the music. Dang, hopefully I don't get, you know, the YouTube thing with music. But yeah, man, like, what are we gonna talk about today? I wanted to talk to you guys about fascism, man, in Italy, but yeah, I might talk about that today. But then I had some, not ideas, but like just thoughts about how basically even here, like the government knows you, like the government knows basically kind of you better than, you know, people close to you do. I mean, I guess that's like kind of normal to say now, but like that you kind of think that was weird. I guess just thinking about it, but then when you think about our society, then at least the United States and probably other developed nations at this point, which is why people are getting pissed. But like you'd understand once you get into like the cultural norms and all that stuff based on like whatever society you're living in. But off the top, you would think that was weird though. Had you not been introduced to the norms and everything, you would think people living next to each other would know each other better than, you know, than like the government. But, and then also the government isn't one person necessarily, it's like a group of people. Oh, there's a scam call. Or maybe that might be my buddy. No, I think that's a scam call. And also the amount of scam calls, I don't know if you guys get that on your phones too. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of find it interesting though. Like I don't even know the people in this neighborhood that well. But, you know, there's a lot of forms you fill out and stuff and like to get a home and all that. And then there's like mortgages backed by, you know, certain companies that like the government heavily invests in, so it is what it is, man. Like, I mean, pretty much backed by the government, like, just is what it is. Like, I don't know if that's just how it always is. Like, to be honest, I don't know any other ways, so I don't know, you know, I don't know any other way, pretty much. I don't know if it could be different. I guess it could be, but I don't know. I've never really experienced it being different in my own lifetime, so I just find that, I mean, that's interesting. So big government always wins, I guess is what I'm getting at. Big government seems to always win because people don't even like each other that much to really interact outside of formal, you know, formal kind of things like a job or you know, something of that sort, like filling out forms or something, you know, like something that's more formal, that there's a formal basis behind it. That's how people seem to interact more. Like if you're just meeting a, you know, your countryman or whatever. I don't know if that, yeah, I'm trying to, but basically, you know, now fascism's coming around. So now we got Italy. You got real fascism in Italy. I could pull up an article, but I don't really want to. But I might just do it to give you guys more information. Giorgia Merloni, I think is her name now, and she leads the Brothers of Italy party. Like, see what a name! What a name to really! What a name! Like that's The Brothers of Italy party, like, but now we got the first fascist party back in power since Mussolini, since World War II. See, I'm like looking on the internet, they're like the fascist era Italy as if it was over. Like they're like fascist Italy 1922 to 1943 as if it was over. Like did they think it was over? Like did they think it wouldn't come back? Like we're in 2022 now, exactly 100 years later, and you literally have the neo-fascist party wins like 100 years. Literally exactly 100 years later, fascism returns in Italy. See, look at this, the return of fascism in Italy. Let's check this one out. From September 23rd, 2022. The return of fascism in Italy from 1922 to 2022. Did fascism ever really leave in Italy? See, that's the question. But let's just read this. The return of fascism in Italy. With Giorgia Meloni's party leading in the polls ahead of Sunday's election. So this was before it actually happened. Like she actually just won the thing. The Italian far right is edging closer to power. I mean, they're in power now, my G. The election of the first woman prime minister in a country always represents a break. And that's true. She's the first woman prime minister. And she is also leading like the return of fascism in Italy, which is funny. She's heading the Brothers of Italy party. So Giorgia Meloni, a woman, is in charge, like not in charge, but she's the head of the Brothers of Italy party. So like, and I think the birth rates in Italy are like even lower than they are in like Germany, which is saying something, and lower they are in the US. So Hillary Clinton, she's like, the election of the first woman prime minister in a country always represents a break with the past, and that's certainly a good thing. Hillary Clinton said to an Italian journalist at the Venice International Film Festival. Dang, so Hillary Clinton's at the film festival. She was speaking of Giorgia Meloni. I thought it was Merloni. A member of the Chamber of Deputies who could make history if the Brothers of Italy party does well as expected in Sunday's elections, which they did. That would be one sort of break with the past, but Meloni would also represent continuity with Italy's darkest episode. Damn, the interwar dictatorship of Benito Mussolini. Damn. I mean, this is obviously an opinion piece, but as Clinton would but you know, like, not saying fascism is good. Like, I certainly don't like communism, fascism. Like, to be honest, I could give a fuck less about like, I just don't want to like get my property taken, is all I know. But as Clinton would surely concede, this is not such a good thing. Yeah, if Meloni comes to power, which she did, it will be the head of a coalition of other members. Matteo Salvini's League and Silvio Berlusconi's Forza Italia, where each one wants the main force on Italy's populist right. Brothers of Italy, which is polling at 23% earlier this month, has overtaken these more established parties, would represent the bloc's largest component. Brothers of Italy, which Meloni has led since 2014, has an underlying and sinister familiarity. Party formed a decade ago to carry forth the spirit and legacy of the extremists. I hate reading all this shit. Dates back to the Italian social movement, the party that formed in place of the National Fascist Party, which was banned after World War II. Damn. Just weeks before 100th anniversary of the March on Rome, the October 1922 event that put Mussolini in power, Italy may have a former MSI activist. Italian social movement is MSI. Activist. I mean, funny they say social movement. Like, all these words are like, fuck, dude. Socialism, fascism, communism, Nazism, capitalism, communism, like, all those words are fucked. Activists for a prime minister and a government rooted in fascism. In the words of that dude, Meloni's that dude, we're all heirs of the Il Duce. What the fuck? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what all that means. Meloni and many, like, see, I don't even like, I might put this link in the like, they compare Meloni to Le Pen of France. I talked about Le Pen like in other videos previously, but like this shit, man, like it is what it is, dude. I guess this is. Okay, Meloni has never fully disavowed her connection to Italy's neo-fascist tradition, even though she claims her party is merely conservative. No, I think they legit actually called themselves neo-fascist. Like, so I don't think this is fully correct. I think they legit called herself neo-fascist. I mean, you know, I'll try to link this article, man. You know, that, I mean, it is what it is, dude. I'm just not surprised. Like, this article discusses it as if they're super surprised. And I'm not surprised this happened post-COVID. Like, Mussolini never killed anyone. He sent people into confinement to have vacations. Or not. Ignore it, but, like, that's not true. They never killed anyone. Like, they say they had prisons, so they sent people to prisons where torture was practiced. Dang. See, fear-mongering an audience because Italy's historically low birth rates. Exactly. It foments racist attitudes about who should be having babies. Like, dude, like, why is the native population not having babies, though? Like, what's... Because the same thing's happening in the United States, the same thing's happening in so many Western countries. Like, why is the native population not having babies? And they're supposed to be, like, supposedly developed. Like, what's up with developed nations and their native populations not having kids? Like, I mean, are they not, like, is it just developed to mean, like, hey, we're not gonna have kids anymore either? Like, we're so developed that we don't want any kids anymore? Like, that's interesting. Cradles are empty and cemeteries are expanding. Il Duce, I guess that might be Mussolini, declared in 1927. Yeah, I think Il Duce is literally Mussolini. Cradles are empty and cemeteries are expanding. He declared in 1927. So that was 1927. Dude, 100 years later, the same shit's happening, dude. The entire white race, the Western race, could be submerged by other races of color that multiply with a rhythm unknown to our own. That's what Mussolini said in 1927. The Western race could be submerged by other races of color that multiply with a rhythm unknown to our own. Damn, like, that's 1927. And dude, I'm not even white. So I don't really love that quote, but it is what it is. Meloni's twist on this theme is ethnic substitution, which is basically the same thing. Since 2017, she has tweeted repeatedly that Italian identity is being deliberately erased by globalists such as Soros and European Union officials who have conspired to unleash uncontrolled mass immigration. So she's obviously not a communist, because communists are kind of globalists. Like, in the sense that they want a workers' revolution. Or at least, you know, they want, if they're in power, if they're like not a idealist and they're just in power, like Putin, they just want, I mean, technically Putin said, like, you could call Putin a fascist. I don't really know. Like, to me, Russia and China are communist, but you could, like, to be honest, all these words suck to me. All of them really do. It is what it is. Always say I was adopted, convinced I'm a Russian foster child my family forgot about. Curious toddler, such imagination. The people of freedom merger entail the loss of autonomy for the neo-fascist tradition.
masturbation, couldn't wait to bust a nut. Watching porn in love with sluts. Rusty trumpets and such, disgusting sleazy shit. 12-year-old
Brothers of Italy formed in 2012.
In 7th grade. Thought I was a man now. Couldn't understand how my parents still thought I was a little kid. I had the mind of a 109-year-old elder man, the passion of the Christ and the memory of an elephant. Used to wonder all about heaven and
What can we expect if the first female-led far-right government comes into being after next week's election, which I think it did? Meloni seems unlikely to tone down her extremism or change her alignment with illiberal parties in Europe. There's Hungary's, dude, even Hungary, Fidesz, pursuing a hardline anti-immigrant and anti-LGBTQ policies in the name of defending white Christian civilization. That's super interesting, has worked well for them. Like, see, I can't be on this stuff because I'm not even white, so like they're not defending me, so I'm not really on their side. Like Orban, Meloni has made common cause with US Republicans. See, I'm definitely not a Republican, just is what it is. I'm not a Republican. I might be like kind of conservative, but I'm not a Republican. Cause like for one thing, I'm not even white, dude. Like I'm not white, clearly. Conservative political action, national prayer breakfast.
I was blind, but I'm seeing like a psychic now. I know the future like Atlanta. Knock it out the park
like this stuff is happening again. Yeah, but back then, like everybody was white. Like now there's like some colored people in there, I guess, whatever the hell you want to call them. Like at least there's more. I mean, there's technically more white people too. I think there's just more people on the planet.
How many MCs wanna come and test me, my technique, weaving through this traffic on my jet ski?
Brothers of Italy could revisit a
my raps are so friendly. Yes, my raps are so friendly. How many MCs wanna come and test me, my technique, weaving through this traffic on a jet ski? Hey, you suck my dick. Looks can be deceiving, and my raps are so friendly.
Italy is a fatherland.
Commend me. Please tell me I'm good. Makes me feel better.
God, fatherland, family. Dude, I mean, that stuff's happening here too, man. Like, I didn't think Trump was the face of it. Like, to me, Trump was just doing business, but I mean... Sorry for that Mac Miller in the background. But it is what it is, you know. I guess Trump was the start of it. You know, you could argue. Like, and that's what some of my friends said back then, but like, I didn't really agree with them. Because like Trump don't even really gives a damn about fascism at all. But I mean, clearly Meloni and the party does. Like, clearly they kind of do. So I mean, fascism's back in Italy, dude. And this is the thing, like the government, like, so doesn't really matter what side you're on. Like whether you're communist or fascist, the government is controlling. Like, I don't want to say it, but everybody is reporting to the government more so than just reporting kind of to each other. Like, so either way, if you're someone like me, like, you lose either way. Or, you know, if you just don't want the government to be so big and, like, you don't want to have to work for the government or have to, like, go to school or take out loans or something to have a house. Like, if you're concerned with government spending and shit, either one is kind of not great for you. And that's kind of where I'm at. But then, like I said in the beginning of the video, do we have a choice? Like, has it ever really been a different way? Like, I haven't lived that, so I'm not sure. Obviously, you know, there's a flip side, and you'd assume humans have done that flip side before, but like in this day and age, and like the age of nations and stuff, you know, like, dude, I barely talk to my neighbors. I talk to some of them sometimes or wave by them when I walk or drive by. But they're not, you would think if they lived that close, they'd be closer in, like, relationships. I mean, just because we live in this close proximity, but then if you take into account the norms and stuff of the society, it's, like, not surprising at all I don't talk to them. So, Brotherhood, Party of Brotherhood, I forget what they call themselves. Like the Brotherhood Party or some shit, what they call themselves. Brothers of Italy, I think the party is called. I think that's kind of why people want connection like that, because like they probably don't talk to their neighbors either, I doubt it, like in Italy. And then they're all super, I don't want to say super old, but like the birth rates aren't there either, so like they clearly didn't have like the confidence in the future to have kids, whether that be economically, socially, or politically. They didn't believe that it was worth it, or maybe a combination of both. I mean, they're trying to take back the future now. They're trying to redirect the trajectory of the country. So, it is what it is, man. So fascism is back. And I think, dude, I would be shocked if it was only white people who felt that way, because I'm pretty sure in that country there's a lot of native-born people leaning right that aren't even white, probably, but they've lived in Italy. And they consider themselves Italian, so I don't know, man. Because in America, I'll probably do a video on this, but in America in the 1950s, we were 90% white. America, I don't even want to say we, because my family wasn't here in the 1950s, but America was 90% white. Like literally, it was like 89 point something percent white. And that's how it's been for the vast majority of its history. It's only been in the past 50-ish years or so when America basically tried to expand its empire a bunch. That's when, or at least expanded its empire to non-white countries. That's when, the immigrants started coming here, because wherever they lived got screwed up so much because of what America was doing. Like, for example, you have Japanese people that come here because they get defeated in World War II. You have Vietnamese people that come here. You have, we had a war in Vietnam. You have Korean people that come here. You got, South American people to come here. Mexican people to come here. Even freaking African people, like Nigerian people to come here. But, Nigeria was colonized by Britain, though. So that's, that's a different, it's a different route, I guess. But, as America expands, becomes more of an empire, those, the people in the countries that got screwed, they move over to America for, a better life or whatever, but, So then that's, now I think the number was, 58%. I think 58% of the country is white now. Literally, and that's in I forget when the study was taken, but that's, in the 2010s or 2020s. So, 1950 to, to 2020, let's just call it 2020. You have a 70-year gap. That's basically a lifetime in one person's lifetime, a fairly long lifetime. In one person's lifetime, you move from 90% white to 58% white. That's crazy. And there's more people in the United States than there used to be. So it's not like they left. All those people are still here, or their families are still here. But they've just gone from 90% white to 58% white. So that was funny to me. My buddy on Discord sent me that. Sent me a link to that study, and I was like, damn, son, that's interesting to me. But yeah, I'll leave it there. We're at 20 plus minutes now, so I'll just leave that shit there. I just thought that was interesting. So fascism returns in Italy. You could say fascism was here in the States, but I wouldn't call Trump a fascist. But there are definitely neo-fascists here in the States, though, for sure, just as what it is, and there's also communists. Dude, I don't really know what side I fall, dude. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to be on that shit, dude. I just don't know, man. 36 views in the last 48 hours. Maybe because I'm posting on Google. like posting on YouTube. Maybe you want to call me a communist. Like, I don't know. This is the most liberal thing I do, though. I'll tell you that posting on YouTube, and that's the most liberal thing I do in my life, I think, is like posting on YouTube. That's the most, like, other than that, I'm pretty conservative. I realized that, like, I didn't even know that until COVID. Or maybe COVID changed me, like, who knows. Like, COVID was our era's 9/11, our generation's 9/11. Alright, man, like, that's it for me. There's another video for y'all. Hope y'all enjoy it. This is my contribution to society for today on my slavery. No, I'm kidding. Like, y'all are so far ahead in terms of being on communism, fascism, all that. Dude, I'm still dealing with, like, wait, capitalism or slavery. Like, I'm in the 1700s, man. While you guys are in, like, you're in the 20th century. I'm still back in, like, the 18th century, dude. Like, the 18th and 19th centuries, man. I'm like, wait, slavery versus capitalism. Whatever, dude. Like, I could be way off. I might get into communism soon, like get into the 1840s. But yeah, man, alright, screw it. Alright, peace out, guys. I'm out of here.